I think we good. I think we good. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Man, y'all already know what time it is. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's great? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild, and welcome to episode 204. It's a lot of episodes, man. So I'm thankful for y'all tuning and tapping in. I'm seeing quite a few of y'all in the chat right now. And again, thank y'all for y'all support, love, and energy. It helps with the growth of the show by staying engaged, tapping into that chat. So make sure y'all continue to tap into that chat all night long. We got quite a few people in the chat already. Again, thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. Also, I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button hyphenated sign in the word snaps.com. That's the word button hyphenated sign in the word snaps.com. Fix my I know y'all see it. I know y'all see the jersey tonight. You know what I'm saying? Had to rock my boys tonight. You know, we put on for tonight. You know what I'm saying? We got at them Raiders. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about that a little later on the show, so I had to throw it on. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all in the chat. Also, we're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 11, so continue to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that all notification bell. Again, it helps with the growth of the show. I pop up throughout the week, so you just never know. I have over 500 rewatchable videos right now of this podcast on the Cannon Brothers Get a Rap playlist right now. So again, make sure y'all tune and tap into the playlist as well. Also, new music is on the way. Can't wait for y'all to hear this new music. Trust me, it's on fire. It's on fire. So I always try to outdo myself each and every project. So again, I can't wait for y'all to hear that. And also for those who've been supporting the new EP Winners Loyalty, make sure you tap into any and everywhere where music is good. Again, it's called Winners Loyalty. 6 songs of fire, especially for my hip hop fans. So make sure y'all go tap into that. Just type in Ashley Lovechild and it will pop up. Let me shout out the chat, man. The chat showing major love. So shout out to King P, one of our day ones and badge holders. My favorite pod. Appreciate that, my brother. Always tapping into the show and contributing to the show. Thank you. Shout out to Winter in the building. Shout out to Hazel in the building. Shout out to Shay in the building. Yo, we got some badge holders and day ones all through the building. Shout out to Tremont in the building. Shout out to Culture in the building. Shout out to Ebony in the building. Hey, Ash. Shout out to Paul in the building. Good night. What's up, Paul? Appreciate you tapping in. My dog Tremont talking about that's that Brooklyn lingo. So shout out to Tremont for that. Someone makes red look good. I appreciate that, Paul. I appreciate that. You know, you see my boys tonight, though. You know, you seen them tonight. We was out there styling and profiling. My boy Patrick Mahomes was out there doing his thing. So I was super excited. We didn't give up no touchdowns. And we had to put the beat down on the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't playing around. So I love what we looking like towards the middle of the season. So man, y'all are so dope. Make sure again y'all continue to engage in the chat. Engage in the chat. And I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Again, don't forget that them likes and 100s. And I appreciate that wholeheartedly. Alright, y'all. Yo, with no further ado, I'm on live. I hate when people text me while I'm on live because I don't play that. On live, jerk. People kill me with that. All right, so let's get it started. All right, y'all know I'm a little crazy, just a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? Just a little crazy. Again, don't forget that them likes hit the 100s. I don't really say it that much, but hit them likes, hit the 100s. All right, y'all. First segment of the night: popular opinions. Remember, y'all, these are not my questions. These are the world's questions. So stick to the answers in the questions. This segment is brought to you by OUV Records, where you get, when you go to Instagram at OUV Records, stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. The label motto is create, document, and inspire, as you see it up here. So make sure y'all tune and tap in. All right, y'all. First, hot topic. First, popular opinion question of the night. If the NFL playoffs started today, most dangerous team. If the NFL playoffs started today, most dangerous team. Number 1, Packers. Number 2, Chiefs. Number 3, the Colts. Number 4, the Broncos. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Shout out to Dreadpool in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s while you in the building. Show major love. It helps with the growth of the show. All right, y'all. Again, question first. Popular opinion question of the night. If the NFL playoffs started today, most dangerous team. Number 1, Packers. Number 2, the Chiefs. Number 3, the Colts. And number 4, the Broncos. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. What y'all going with in the chat? I'm already seeing 4 in the chat. So y'all went with the Broncos. The Broncos had a great win tonight. I thought the game was over. They was getting beat by like 3 touchdowns. I look up, they won the game. I'm like, whoa. So let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. So I'm seeing Packers, and I'm seeing, yeah, y'all know where I'm going with this, right? So before we get to me, the Packers in that NFC Eastern Conference is really up for grabs. Because honestly, the Eagles don't look the same. They don't even feel comfortable leaning into the run like they did a year ago, because it seemed like it's been a point of contention. They're not getting AJ Brown the ball. So that has been a thing, and I think it's kind of disrupted the flow of the team, even though it doesn't seem like he's going out of his way, as far as talking about AJ Brown is going out of his way to make it like a thing. But you could kind of feel like it is on the team. So they don't even feel the same. It's hard to repeat in the NFL. So the Packers have a direct line to get into the Super Bowl. The Broncos look good, but they in our division. Our division. You know what I mean by our. You see the hat, you see the jersey. You see the hat, you see the jersey. You know what I mean by our, right? They in our division. We gonna win our division. So they not the most dangerous team, but they are a good team though. They are a damn good team. The Colts, another good team, but I don't think they could beat us. I don't even think they could beat the Broncos in a playoff, even though they beat the Broncos early this season. But playoff football's a little different. So the Chiefs, I'm seeing the Chiefs overwhelmingly in the chat. You know I'm going with the Chiefs. The rest of the world at 46% went with Kansas City Chiefs, baby. You know what I'm saying? This is like probably the 4th time in 204 episodes where I said the same answer, the chat said the same thing, and the rest of the world said the same thing. So that's not a common thing on the show. So everybody says the Chiefs. We are playing really good football right now. We shouldn't have lost to the Jaguars. That was like bewildering to me. But things happen the way they happen. And we continue to get better and better. And we're not a perfect team yet. So we continue to get better and better week by week. So I'm loving the fact that that's the answer. But I hope that it continues to reign true. So, all right, y'all. I mess with y'all for that one, y'all. Y'all said my Chiefs, yo. Y'all said my Chiefs. I love that. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Our next popular opinion. Favorite artists on this list. Favorite artists on this list. Number 1, Lotto. Number 2, Coi Leray. Number 3, Coi Leray, sorry. Number 3, Megan Thee Stallion. Number 4, Glorilla. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Shout out to Adam in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. Appreciate you tapping in, Adam. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Your favorite artists on this list. Number 1 is Lotto. Number 2, Coi Leray. Number 3, Megan Thee Stallion. Number 4, Glorilla. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, I'm not gonna lie to you. Each one of these artists have had their moment, right? And they're all doing their thing as of now and been doing their thing for a second. But what I mean by their moment, as far as like music that I like that they have made. So there's some songs that each artist have made for me that I'm like, yo, these are bops. Like I could definitely rock to this. Musically, I'm gonna have to say Glorilla because Glorilla got the most like bops. Like to me personally, like I know more of her music when I hear it, and maybe it's that Memphis draw, maybe it's her, just the way she gets through a track. I know her voice probably the most. Megan, I think out of everybody on this rap, even though everybody raps, Megan be rapping. She goes hard. She go hard. Even though the content be, lick her butt, lick her, her meow meow. She go hard when it comes to the lyrically. Coi Leray is probably the most diverse out of everybody on this list. And she's a very attractive woman too, but she's probably the most diverse. Like Coi Leray makes songs, not just a rap song. She makes songs. So I like her music as well. There's certain songs I'm like, I'm cool, but there's certain joints I'm like, yo, that is actually, that's, I don't want to say actually, but that is fire. Lotto, not crazy about her music, but she can rap and she do have bops. And she been doing her thing, so I can't, I can't, disregard that. So I have to add that in that as well too. In the chat, I'm seeing a whole lot of Lotto in the chat. Y'all saying Lotto in the chat. Me, like I said, I went with Glorilla musically. I feel like she has the most bops, and she's very underrated in her performance and her presentation. I'm gonna have to say Glorilla. I'm gonna have to say Glorilla overall is the best or my favorite artist on this list. In the chat, y'all went with Lotto. Again, I went with Glorilla. The rest of the world at 39%, y'all went with Glorilla. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. I thought that was very interesting. I went with Glorilla, and the rest of the world went with Glorilla. Like I said, she has the post right now. And she got a lot of bops. Like she really got a real strong playlist for club music, for vibe music. Like she really is doing her thing. So me personally, I have to say Glorilla on that as well too. All right, y'all. Yeah, y'all stupid. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next one. Hollywood Need to Ask Us. Came up with the segment because Hollywood just don't give us enough intriguing, interesting movies. So I got better ideas for a movie or a movie series. Hollywood Need to Ask Us for this episode. I would love to see a movie on the Color Empire. I know y'all like, what the hell is the Color Empire, Ash? The Color Empire is that the families and companies that actually own colors. There are entities that actually own colors, and there's a company that actually own all the colors. So I would love to see how a company could even own colors. To come up with the idea to own colors. Now, come to find out, they can't sell colors if certain things and materials already have it in there. So they can't sell the color green to a company that deals with groundskeeping, right? But they could sell the color green to a company that doesn't naturally have green in their logo or whatever. So coming to find out that the Color Empire, how do you go about owning colors, and the real flex and the business behind owning colors. So I would love to see a movie based on the Color Empire, how to own colors or a color. And I think that would be absolute fire. I will cross genre this movie into a horror film. I'm gonna make it rated R. I'm kind of unsure who I would have directing it, but it will still be a fire movie. I always go to my old faithful in Ernest. No, you know what I'm gonna go with? I'm gonna go with Billy Cunduff. Could I think his name is Billy Kindorf. He directed Boys in the Hood. Was it Boys in the Hood? No, Tales from the Hood. He directed Tales from the Hood. I will use him to do this one. I will make this a horror film in the ways of going about owning colors and using colors to symbolize different things, like red for, kill, green for money. I would incorporate the colors into each symbolism of success and failures in this movie. So I think it will absolutely be fire. And yeah, man, that's the type of movie I would love to see based on that. Uh, Shout out to Paul. She said John Singleton. John Singleton is not a bad choice, right? But he throw a lot of sex in everything. Like a movie could be about selling crackers, and he gonna have like the cracker, the person who owned the crackers, like getting it popping with like with the cracker delivery dude. Like but R.I.P. to John Singleton. I need somebody that's still alive though. I'm not gonna hold you. Rest in peace to John Singleton, but I'm gonna need somebody that's alive though. Me personally, but wouldn't have been a bad choice because John Singleton knows how to direct some movies. But it'll still be a fire movie, all the same. Still be a fire movie. A shout out to Ebony. That would be an interesting take on relationships. Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, this would be a movie that have symbolism, greed, success, failure, and it will all be symbolized through colors and owning the colors. So I think that would be fire. Y'all seen I put some thought into that, right? I wasn't playing. I'll be playing around when it comes to my my Hollywood Need to Ask Us. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment, our must-see segment. This is the 204th episode, so I'll be giving y'all fire movies each and every episode. And tonight ain't no different. So my 3 movies y'all must go see. Don't play around. Go tap into them. Come back. Let me know if you've seen them. And we could chop it up. Have a great conversation about these movies. All right, so my first must-see movie for tonight came out in 2003, directed by Mike Fiegels. This movie stars Dennis Quaid, Sharon Stone, Stephen Duraff. Yeah, I think Stephen Dreyfuss. I think that's the right way. Stephen Dreyfuss. Kristen Stewart. That's the Twilight Girl. Juliette Lewis, Ryan Wilson, Christopher Palmer, and Dana Eccleston. Stephen Dreyfuss, I believe, is the guy that played Deacon Frost in Blade. Y'all know who Dennis Quaid is, and y'all know who Sharon Stone is, right? This movie is absolute fire. This movie is called Cold Creek Manor. Again, it's called Cold Creek Manor. It's a fire movie about a family who is struggling living in the city. There's a whole lot going on in the city, so much to the point where they move out to the boondocks in a nice house, a palace. They lived in a shoebox apartment in the city and lived in a palace in the country. And you have to see the rest of the movie. It is absolute fire. It's an absolute thriller and a great watch. So make sure y'all tap in to see Cold Creek Manor. Second must-see movie came out in 1998, directed by Barry Levinson. This movie stars Dustin Hoffman, Samuel L. Jackson, Sharon Stone again, Liev Schreiber, Peter Coyote, and Queen Latifah. Y'all know who Queen Latifah is. Y'all know who Samuel L. Jackson is. Dustin Hoffman, y'all know, played Captain Hook in the Peter Pans. It's just a fire must-see movie about a group of scientists having to go check out extraterrestrial activity that's deep in the ocean. and you have to see the rest of the movie. I won't ruin it for y'all. So again, make sure y'all go see the movie Spare. Spare. Third and final must-see movie came out in 1996, directed by Ringo Lam. This movie stars Jean-Claude Van Damme, Natasha Henrod, Zach Grainer, Stephanos Metzelakos, Gene Hughes, Paul Ben Victor, and David Himblin. This movie is called Maximum Risk. Fire movie. Y'all have to check this movie out. This, in my opinion, is probably Jean-Claude Van Damme's top 3 movies. Like, for me, is Maximum Risk. I would say Time Cop and Bloodsport. I go Bloodsport then Time Cop, then Kickboxer, then, you know what I'm saying? But Maximum Risk, fire. This movie's about a man who works in the criminal space. Comes to find out he has a twin brother. And you have to watch the rest of the movie. It is absolute fire. It's an absolute must-see. So again, make sure y'all tap it to see Maximum Risk. So I'm not going to ruin these movies. I told you I'm not going to ruin the experience for y'all. So make sure y'all go tap into these movies. Again, my 3 must-see movies. Number 1, Cold Creek Manor. Number 2, Spare. And number 3, Spare. I feel like I'm saying it wrong, Spare. And number 3, Maximum Risk. So make sure y'all tap into those movies. Fire must-see movies. And again, when y'all watch these movies, tap in, come back, let me know how you feel about these movies, and we'll chop it up. We have a great discussion about it. And y'all know I love movies, so make sure y'all tap in. All right, y'all, moving on to our next one. You know I'm a profile artist. Each and every episode, I'm going to give y'all fire artists to go tap into, whether it's new or old, whether it's hip-hop or R&B. I'm going to give y'all that good vibration when it comes to this music. So put these 3 songs on your playlist. Shout out to Paul Cold Creek Manor. Cold Creek Manor. Yeah, Cold Creek Manor is fire. I'm telling you. Or Cold Crack. You said Cold Crack or Cold Creek? Cold Creek Manor. It's Cold Creek Manor. It's a fire movie, trust me. All right, so my artist for tonight that's profiled is Dave East. Make sure y'all put these 3 songs on your playlist by Dave East. Number 1, Havana. Number 2, Heard You. Number 3, Numb Part 2 featuring Rel. These 3 songs is fire, must hear, must put on your playlist by Dave East. Again, number 1 is Havana. Number 2, Heard You. Number 3, Numb Part 2 featuring Rel. So make sure y'all put those 3 songs on your playlist by Dave East. Yo, I ain't gonna steer y'all wrong. I'm gonna give y'all some fire music each and every episode. Sorry, that was a mistake. Okay. Yeah, I actually thought you was doing like a play on word when you said that. I'm not gonna lie. I thought you was doing. I was trying to catch if you was doing a play on word. But shout out to Paul for that. Next is a must-read book. Yeah, I'm gonna give y'all a fire must-read book each and every episode. So my book for this episode is How to Invest. The book is called How to Invest $50,000 to $5,000. This book is by Nancy Dunning. It's a great book to read. It actually gives you formulas and tools and simple ways to invest from 50 to 5 grand, and you're trying to flip it. So it's a great book to read. So make sure you tap into the book again, How to Invest 50 to 5,000, and the book is by Nancy Dunning. So make sure y'all tap into that book. All right, y'all, moving on to our next one. Y'all already know we're doing send them to turkey or nah. Send them to turkey or nah. Type in T to send them to turkey. Type in N not to send them to turkey. We came up with the segment because Turkey has some of the craziest laws we ever heard in the world. So when people do some BS, say some BS, we send them to Turkey. So again, make sure y'all tap in T or type in N for this one. All right, y'all. First one of the night, send them to Turkey or nah, send them to Turkey or nah. First one, officials caution that food stamps funds may run out by November. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. The officials, when I mean saying officials, the officials as in the government, the official government has cautioned that food stamps, food service, food assistance funds will run out by November. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Type in T to send it to Turkey. Type in N not to send it to Turkey. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, this is absolutely crazy. I was doing some research earlier because I'm like, yo, how do we continue to fall in so much debt where the people that need the assistance, mind you, people been paying taxes from the beginning of time. Why are we so behind in our debt where there's no relief? I thought the Doge, what happened to the Doge money? What happened to all this money that we found? What happened to all this money that we'd have saved that's going against or for our debt? And we seem like we're falling further and further into debt. So much to the point where the government can't even help people out during Thanksgiving. Mind you, I don't celebrate none of the holidays. It's a man-made. These are man-made holidays, but these holidays have adaptation where people get together with their family and they spend time with their family. I'm not against that at all. I'm against the actual tradition of these fake holidays, but that's a whole nother story. But the fact that we're so far in debt that we don't even have the money to give people relief that we've been doing for quite a while now, but people have been paying into it. People have been paying their taxes. We all been doing our part to make sure that everybody gets. So why at this point in time that people are not getting? So if you cut that funding off, where do that money that was supposed to be for that funding, where do that money go? Or do it just sit? Or is just no money completely? And I believe to me, is very far-fetched. When not too long ago, former NFL quarterback Brett Favre had access to the damn government funding to the state of Mississippi, where he misappropriated these funds and was able to get the money from his buddy, allegedly, where he got the money from his buddy, and it was government assistant money in the state of Mississippi. So if Brett Favre had access to this money, who's an NFL quarterback, an ex-NFL quarterback, if he got access to that, imagine people with the access. He's a former NFL quarterback. He not tapped into the money like that. He tapped into NFL money. He tapped into what they call that, sponsorship, advertising money. He not tapped into the government money, or shouldn't have been tapped into the government money, but one of his buddies supposedly had him tapped into that money, and he had to give the money back. He had to pay the fine on top of that. So if he had access to that money, what makes us think that Big Brother or a higher entity or company don't have access to it and be like, you know what? We're just not going to give it out. And we're just going to say it's due to the government shutdown, and we're just not going to give it out. And that's just what it's going to be. So how do we know there's not bigger plans at play here regarding this? So I'm sending this all the way to Turkey. Again, and it's very unfortunate at this point in time when people who are expected to get that money, dependent to get that money, may not be able to get access to it, or may get access to a smaller portion of it. And this is what this government wants. For people to be dependent and not grow and make the economy bigger and better. Shout out to Biggs in the building, my bro. Brooklyn in the building. But again, doing more research, what would help or be a big help for us getting out of the $1 trillion of debt that we are in is that they subsidize and did grants for small businesses. If you had grants, real grants, not the PPP loan, not something you have to pay back, grants to establish small businesses that made a profit on their own. Now imagine what a grant or a stipend could do to help facilitate the local economy. If the local economy is booming, then big economy is going to be booming because you have the money circulating in those communities. So at the end of the day, if we know the formula, why are we not doing it? Why are we not having businesses built in our communities, in our country? We buy all this other stuff from all these other companies like Japan, China, but we don't build nothing here like we used to. And if we know the formula, why do these businesses or entities and bigger companies and government policies is not being allocated to small business companies that could directly affect the debt in itself? Also, that's a big part of this debt is mortgage loans. People can't pay their mortgage loans because the mortgage loans is high as hell. Let's keep it a stack. A lot of these mortgages, yo, real talk, they come up with numbers, bro. They come up with numbers. Cause ain't no way that this house costs 300 grand. Somebody makes 60,000 a month. They could qualify for the house for 300 grand. Cause they make that money per year. I'm sorry, 50,000. Let's say they make 60,000 a year. House is 300,000. They will qualify for the loan. But then you give people these balloon loans, and even first time home buyers, you have the percentages that be so high, and there's different different companies that will actually pay half of your first time buyer number as far as your markup. Some will pay the total depending on the program that's available. But you have many people losing their houses because they can't pay for it because the house is too much, and y'all coming up out of the thin air for these prices. Y'all making it location based. Y'all making it square footage based. They overbuild houses in Georgia and Texas. For the houses that you see in Georgia and Texas, they'll easily be $1 million in New York. Easily be $2 million in New York and Los Angeles. But in in Atlanta or Georgia in itself as a state, and Texas itself as a state, these houses are a fraction of the cost. So y'all coming up with this, y'all just making these numbers up out of thin air. And people can't pay for it, and it hurts the debt of this country. So again, we doing it to ourselves, but we know and have the formula, but we're not exercising it. And public assistance is low-hanging fruit at this point, so much to the point where people may not get anything for this Thanksgiving, which is sad and crazy, and you're going to have people really crashing out. That's why I say this is a system. When you have people crashing out, what's going to be the direct effect of that? People are going to risk it all. They're going to get caught, and they're going to go to jail. When they said the jails are already overpopulated, but they build them more jails. Cheap labor, get people in jail. Let's cut government assistance. They're already dependent on us. What they going to do? They're going to rob each other, and they're going to go to jail. They're going to kill each other. They're going to go to jail. It's all a system, and that's why I keep saying it. That's why I'm sending this to Turkey as well. So that's mine on that one. Send them to Turkey or not. All right, so next one, send them to Turkey or not. Send them to Turkey or not. Again, type in T to send it to Turkey. Type it in not to send it to Turkey. MTV is shutting down their music channel after 40 years. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Are we sending MTV to Turkey or not? Are we sending MTV to Turkey or not? Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Don't forget that them likes. Don't forget to hit them 100s. We on the road to 20,000 subs. We a little over 11,000 subs. All right, so type in T to send it to Turkey. Type in N not to send MTV to Turkey. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Me personally, shout out to Ebony, Turkey, not a big deal, but a big deal. I hear that. I hear that. Me personally, MTV haven't been relevant in quite some time now, especially their music channels. We're no longer in a space like how I spoke about last episode where artists such as myself and just throughout the world don't depend on music videos anymore to boost our music, to promote our music. There was a time where artists spent a lot of money on music videos. When it comes to production, editing, it all was a focal point in having many eyes to the music and hoping to be a direct sales to the music in itself. MTV has been irrelevant. They have made themselves irrelevant in the music space. When I say they made themselves irrelevant, they have, because they have the money and the prestige and the ability to pivot in a way where they could have still made their music channels viable for artists and for themselves. So artists is no longer going to MTV, VH1, BET, and several other cable companies or cable networks to promote music anymore. We going straight to the internet. We going straight to promotion. We're going to promote where people are at. We're going to promote on Instagram, on YouTube, on Reddit, or anywhere where people are at. The artist is going to do direct promotions there because it's way more effective. It's real talk. For me to promote my stuff on Instagram, I have probably more eyes on Instagram than me paying Cablevision to say, yo, promote my album or to promote my song through this video, and paying them lots of money when people are not even paying for cable anymore. They going straight to the internet. And it's been like that for a while now. I would say it's been like that for like a solid 11 to 12 years that people are going direct to the internet. So why have this entity? So I'm not really shocked, but MTV kind of played this up. I mean, they made their money where they made their money, but because they have the resources, they had the ability to pivot, and they didn't. They didn't do it in a way where artists would still go to them to promote our music. We don't need y'all to promote our music anymore. And when we did, y'all was charging us crazy money. Crazy money. And when we did it, everything was all good, right? But now we don't need y'all. So much to the point where y'all basically priced yourself out, and y'all haven't made a viable way for artists such as myself or any other artist to really make a way and promote and see a return on our promotion with our music. So I'm really not mad at this at all. I thought they shut it down years ago, to be honest with you. So shout out to Ebony for that. She said Turkey, not a big deal, but big deal. I completely agree with that. I mean, when is the last time y'all went on MTV to watch a music video? When was the last time MTV promoted a new song? All of these are entities, and to keep it all the way honest with you, MTV and BET, for real, they only promoted companies and record artists and record companies that was only in bed with them. They wasn't promoting independent artists like that. Independent artists had to sign with major distribution to get a major music video look. That's just the way it worked. So they wasn't letting independent artists do it for a long period of time until the tail end of MTV, BET, VH1. They created a space for independent artists, truly independent artists, to have their music in direct connection to their fan base. And then at the end of it, they only made it available to other countries. It wasn't even available in the States like that. But if you go to Jamaica, you still see music videos. If you go to Canada, you still see music videos. If you go to different parts of Africa, you still see music videos. So it's funny how we have it in the US compared to the rest of the world. So again, how are we benefiting from it? So I'm not mad at MTV for closing down their channel. They've been irrelevant for years now. So I don't think nobody said it better than Ebony. Not a big deal, but a big deal. Because again, they had the finances and the resources to pivot to keep the music culture alive. But this goes to show none of these companies care about music culture. They don't. They just care about what the money can do, what money can they make from the music. Like we've seen that with ringtones, and you see that in today's music. They don't care about the music. That's why everything is going to AI. It's like, yo, we don't even need you no more as an artist. We get it close enough through the AI, and we can make our money through the AI. We don't have to pay you no more. Yeah, we don't need that song no more. Thank you. You could keep that song. We play the AI, and people go rock to it. They don't care about the music culture. The people, the real people, have to keep the music culture alive because we need it. And there's no AI without us. We the real source of this music thing. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know what time it is. It's time to rap. This segment is brought to you by Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. First hot topic of the night, y'all. Brian McKnight celebrates ex-wife not showing up to court, and he wins $8.8 million, $8.8 million in damages for a defamation case. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, Brian McKnight wins his case. It's a defamation case, and he also posted it on his he made a post about it as well, where he won his case because his ex-wife did not show up to court, and he wins $8.8 million, $8 million in damages for defamation. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Don't forget that them likes, hit them 100s in the chat. I thought this was quite interesting, to be honest with you. Brian McKnight has always been a great artist, but from the beginning of time, I've also seen him bigged up his family. And I'm talking about his family with his older sons. I've heard him say their names quite often. Nico, I think he passed away, rest in peace to Nico, and I believe it's Brian McKnight Jr. He had bigged them up on several occasions, because remember, Brian McKnight used to have like TV appearances and stuff like that on different sitcoms and shows. And I've heard him big them up and shout them out plenty of times back in the 90s. But to see this come ahead in 2025, these are grown adult children. And it's always tricky when you have grown kids, because your grown kids is finding themselves, and you literally are the first person that they ever loved. And it's like you literally become like their first enemy. And because of the lack of communication and non-communication, regardless on who feels away, the truth, that never matters anymore. So you can stop speaking to your grown kids because of principle. And that's the truth, right? But then there's truth, and then there's feelings. And when time goes by, feelings don't care nothing about the truth. The truth is always going to be the truth, but feelings don't care nothing about the truth, and it just creates a bigger and bigger separation. So in this particular case, there have been a lot of things said about Brian McKnight coming from his ex-wife camp. When you get to court and this thing called defamation, you have to prove these things. When somebody sue you, for something you done said, if you don't have the proper evidence to back up your claim, publicly apologize and call it a day. Don't take it to court, because you're going to find yourself in a bigger and deeper hole. And this is what seemed to be the situation. Because at the end of the day, when you're saying things about people in a public space and it's going against their character and it's something you cannot prove, regardless if it's true or not, if you can't prove it, if you have no facts, then don't say. If you're going to say it, it's one thing to say something in a family space. It's different when you're saying things in a place where it's like where it's going to land. But when you say it in a public space, in a public eye, and the person feels away, and you don't have proof to prove your claims, then guess what? You're going to be paying a defamation damages. He wins $8.8 million because the wife didn't simply come to court. And why would you not go to court if you have proof? You don't have proof. So it's really sad to see this play out. 2025, when they started off as such a loving family, but there was a post that Brian McKnight had made years ago where before he had his new family, he had made a post where he said he's tired of taking care of his grown kids and that he sent them to college, he paid for their college, bought them cars, got them apartments. And it's like, yo, the money train stops, baby, y'all grown. And him making that post was in response to his kids at the time saying that they wasn't being provided for by him. So when he made this post, it was response to that. So to see that years ago, and this had to be, I could have my math wrong, but this, I could have sworn this was like 2015, 2016. Fast forward to 2025, where he doesn't even want to be associated with his grown kids. So there's a lot of hurt that's going on amongst this family. Anytime a father and a brother want to disassociate himself from his grown kids, that says a lot to the situation. That lets you know that those kids is hurting and that he is hurting. But there's a root to the hurt. There's always a root to the hurt. But them being adults, they have the power to fix it. If they really sit down and have the uncomfortable conversation and being resolution based without mudslinging, without pointing the fingers, stating facts, not feelings. And I believe that they would have been able to move forward. But this situation, I never want to say it's shut and closed, but $8.8 million. I mean, but at the end of the day, when you're speaking on people with no proof, you're going to have to run it. So shout out to Vic in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. 1, 2, 3, the story of every teens and their parents. It's kind of sad to see a family get so ugly within the unit. I know Dre, I hang out with Snoop and money. Money can be the root of all evil, is the root of all evil, but you can't talk about people, say things about people in a way where it's affecting their public image and don't pay the consequences. There's no way. If you say, when we speak on the internet, there's a good chance that all of our things that we find out is not 100% accurate. That's a very true thing, right? But if we are found not to be accurate, then we apologize, we make a retraction, we set the record straight on what is real, and we set a record straight on what can be proved. Somebody being a jerk, somebody being an asshole, that's not a thing you can say that's going to get you paid $8.8 million. You got to have to go in on some things where people can actually sue you for that amount. So, like I said, Brian McKnight won his case against ex-wife for $8.8 million in damages in the defamation case. It's very, very sad. Very, very sad. Again, y'all, don't forget that them likes hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. And if this is your first time tapping in, I am Ashley Lovechild. Yes, I am a Chiefs fan, as you can see by the jersey and the hat in the background. You know, sometimes I gotta say it. That's one thing. I want to make a public service announcement. And this is for my Florida people, right? All right, granted, I'm wearing the Chiefs jersey today, right? Yes, I'm wearing the Chiefs jersey today, yes. But when somebody wears a jersey, yo, that don't mean they fans of the team. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We wear jerseys because it's fly. We wear jerseys because it matches the kicks, the boots, the shoes, whatever we rocking on the feet, it matches. Today is the case that my team is my team. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, because I get it all the time, I could be wearing a Miami Dolphins jersey because it matched my Iverson sneakers and my shorts. Yo, the Dolphins, right? I'm like, yo, sir, I'm not a fan of the Dolphins, man. I'm a Chiefs fan. I'm just wearing the jersey because it's a fire jersey. Look at the design of the jersey. It's just fire. I have on Atlanta Falcon jersey because it's a Deion Sanders jersey. You know what I'm saying? I'll rock that. Be like, oh yeah, the Falcons ain't all that. I know they ain't all that. I carry a sign saying that the Falcons ain't all that. I made a sign saying the Falcons ain't going to win the Super Bowl. But somebody would think I'm a Falcons fan. I ain't no Falcons fan. It's a fire jersey, especially the old school jersey. The new school jerseys is trash. But that old school jersey, come on, give me a Deion Sanders, Michael Vick old school Falcons jersey, fire. But the team in itself, not winning the Super Bowl. So again, and it's by Ashley Lovechild, as you can see. So again, everybody you see rocking a jersey, that don't mean they're fans. So I have to say that to all the Floridians that be out here. Anytime they see me, I'll rock a Detroit Pistons jersey, turquoise Grant Hill. Be like, yeah, you seen the Pistons last night? No, I did not. No, I did not. No. I like the jersey. The jersey is fire. Yes. So I had to make that public service announcement. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. I don't know if y'all seen it, but it is a must-see. New movie trailer had dropped, and it's called Primate. The new Primate trailer has dropped. New fire movie. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure y'all tap in to watch it. It is fire. It looks really, really good. I was quite interested to see if Jordan Peele had produced the movie, but I didn't see his name because they use a primate for this movie. So I don't know if they they like to steal his ideas and use it in the movie, but they don't have the necessary seasoning to pull it off. But this movie actually looks good. It looks interesting and it grabbed my attention. So if you haven't seen, the new movie trailer of the movie called Primate is coming out, and it looks absolutely good. So if you haven't seen it, make sure y'all go tap in to watch it. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Tyler Perry Studios is offering a 7-week intern program for dreamers, inspiring students, all who want to work in the television production industry. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Do y'all like it? Do y'all hate it? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat by old TP Tyler Perry. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. Me personally, for educational purposes, I love it. Having the ability to directly affect the community by teaching them skills that they can learn and they can earn for the rest of their life. Because one thing is for sure, two things for certain. No matter how much debt this country is in, we're going to need some movies. We need movies, whether we feeling good, whether we feeling sad. We need movies. We need things to distract us from the everyday BS and baloney. We need real things to take us away from all the madness. So on that aspect, I love it because again, you're taking people who don't have these set of skills that want to be in the entertainment business and don't necessarily have to work in front of the camera, especially from our communities. Our communities, we feel like the only way to make it is if we're in front of the camera. We have to perform, we have to sing, we have to dance, we have to rap, we have to play sports. But there's people who are so powerful that work behind the scenes, behind the camera, and having a foundation in the television production industry is an asset. Is an asset, and that could pay you forever and a day. So on that aspect, I love. On that aspect, I love. The other aspect, the duality of it, is that Tyler Perry hasn't had a lot of great publicity regarding Tyler Perry Studios in the midst of his sexual allegations. He also have a couple of showrunners that have their sexual allegations as far as SA cases that they're going against right now. Different allegations. Again, these are allegations. It doesn't make the studio reputation look good. This does. But if you have that type of energy and culture amongst your studio, are you doing it because you really want to see other people get the opportunity out with the old culture, in with the new culture? Or you just looking for new people to facilitate the old culture? Because when most people don't know no better, they fall right in line. When you get the old dogs out, bring the new dogs in, the new dogs 9 times out of 10 be like, oh, this is how it goes on the set. I've never been on the set before. I didn't know it went like this. I didn't know somebody could say this. I didn't know somebody can do this. So is this out with the old, in with the new to the old culture? Or are you trying to chuck a deuce to the old culture based on the allegations and trying to introduce a new culture that is learned, positive, and that's looking to achieve and change the narrative of the studio's reputation? So there's a duality to that, to me, regarding this in Tyler Perry. So at the end of the day, that's how I'm looking at both sides of the spectrum. A shout out to Ranger in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. You from, shout out to Ranger. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It sounds good, but I don't know. Shout out to Ebony. Shout out to Paul. Publicity stunt. Yo, take away the rumors. People do forget fast when you get some good news. Arrived to Tyler Perry trying to save his reputation. See, and that's why I asked the question, because there is a duality and two different perspectives to look at that. You hear what the chat is going with, and y'all heard what I said. So which one is it? So these allegations don't make the company, the reputation of their production space or production company look good at all. This is great publicity if out with the old culture based on the allegations and in with the new culture. Get that new energy in there, and it's going to be built off hard work, positivity, and skill. But if you bring in the new dogs just to go towards the old culture based on the allegations, then 8 months from now, we're going to hear more SA allegations. And they have to do a better job in vetting people if that's not your culture. Because people out here, they looking for a lick. Let's say these allegations are false. Let's say these allegations are wrong. Oh, so there's, oh, I could join Tyler Perry Studios. Oh, so now when they get around it, they don't be on that. But yo, if I say that is an essay situation, they will pay me just to get rid of me, and I didn't hit a lick. They will pay me way more in the case than they do on me just working. So again, they have to do a better job in vetting if the perceived notion of the culture of the studio is not the preceding reputation based alleged. So again, we will see. Only time could tell. And that's why I say I love it on one aspect. On the other aspect, I don't know. This is very suspicious all in itself. If their reputation is alleged to be true. Absolutely, I wouldn't have any more people around me if I was T Top. If I was him, I can't. I don't want to say his name until my case is way over. Cameras around everyone that must be part of the deal. And see, and this is what I'll be talking about, right? Somebody with the means and the stature of Tyler Perry Studios, they have the means, the resources to film everything on set, behind the set, to film everything. So that way everything is on the up and up, and that way that nobody could say anything because it's on film. Like you, if I'm based on the allegations, if I'm in the vicinity of Tyler Perry Studios, if I'm him or whatever the case may be, and I know that my studios is not built off that, these are all allegations, these are all untruths, and I have the means to tape everything, I have the means to put everything in film base or whatever the case may be, I'm doing that. You'd be like, you said what about me? You said what about my showrunner? Oh, pull up the tape. We got the footage of that day behind the scene, and that didn't happen. Pop in the tape. Oh, you quiet now. Oh, so we not up on. Oh. So if you catch a few people in that vein, and you really not on that, then people wouldn't even try you after that. I'm saying your reputation is worth protecting, right? So you got your own stuff. You got your own cameras, your videos. Even though you buying all that stuff, at the end of the day, what's a few more cameras in protecting your reputation and protecting your company? Because these are all lies and allegations according to Tyler Perry Studios and Tyler Perry. Go the extra mile in protecting, so that way when you bring people in, they know that all these alleged things is not true, and your company could continue to be built based off talent, hard work, and inspiring people. So I don't see the harm in that. Cameras around everyone that must be a part of it. That's a fact. That's a fact. I agree with you, Paul, hands down. So he has something worth protecting. Your reputation first and foremost, and secondly, the studios. So go the extra mile in doing that. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Question. And this is not necessarily directed to the last hot topic, but this is directed towards something else because something is coming up, and it's just we talked about somebody just now, right? Can you separate art versus behavior? Again, can you separate art versus behavior? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Don't forget to hit them likes, hit them 100s. Also, take advantage of our memberships. You get different membership advantages, and you get different access. So make sure y'all tap into the membership portion of the page. We got quite a few members of the pod, so make sure y'all continue to tap in to the membership portion of the page. Links is in the bio. Again, can you separate art versus behavior? Can you separate art versus behavior? Me personally, this is quite interesting because this is the first time in history that we're living in that people are questioning entertainers, artists, athletes, and trying to give credence to their behavior based on what they do. Some people are so great at what they do that people get inspired by them. And then to hear that they personality or their behavior behind the scenes or off the field, off the court, out the studio, seems to be different, seems to be deviant, seems to be something that you're not about or for, it comes into question, especially when it gets public. So can you separate artists, or art, I should say, art versus behavior? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Can you separate the two? But me personally, I don't think it's cut and dry for every person. And the scary part about this, sometimes these allegations don't be true. There's an old saying, if 100 people is saying it, then it must be true. It depends on the 100 that you asking. If you ask 10 of my girlfriends, if you ask 10 of my ex-girlfriends, am I a nice guy? They might say I'm alright. They might say I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? He nice when he want to be. They'll probably say something slick like that. You know what I'm saying? They won't say, no, he's a nice guy. He treated me nice. It didn't work out, but he did treat me nice, or whatever the case may be. He nice when he want to be. He could be mean when he want to be. He could be nice when he want to be. They'll probably say something slick like that, right? So it depends who you ask. So when you think of artists such as Michael Jackson, and ever since his allegations, every chance he spoke on it, he denied all allegations. Even his brothers have denied all allegations. Mike wasn't like that. He had love for kids and wanted to see kids happy, but he didn't have that type of relationship with children. No, hell no. You know how we was raised? Hell no. That doesn't translate into that. Come to find out, for years, that all of these parents was sending their kids to Michael Jackson house just to make up a story to say, hey, they'll pay us just for us to go away. And when the kids grew up, they say, yeah, those stories wasn't true. So when you go through the space to mudsling, to ruin somebody's reputation, and people starting to believe in it, because just saying it makes things like, maybe I could see, even if it's not true, it throws it in the air because you don't know for sure. If we don't know, then like what can we really do? There was a case where Michael Jackson had the police showed up to his house and took pictures of his private part. And the next interview he did, he looked so disheveled. And when this happened, I was a little kid. I'm like, well, if he's so innocent, why is he crying? But as a grown man, I understand that fully, because you didn't give yourself of these people, your art and everything to the people, that this is so ridiculous that I was violated based on a lie. That's a violation. And for a grown man to have another grown man take pictures of him to find out whether he did something to somebody and he didn't do it, that's a complete violation. So again, I understand that wholeheartedly as a grown man, opposed to when I was just a child and hearing about these things. Now, when these artists actually do these things, can you separate their art from their behavior? If you have a great quarterback and he's been great, he's been a Hall of Famer, But hey, man, there's been gape cases against this man several times. If you have one gape case, that's one too many. There shouldn't be a gape case on any dude. But I understand how it happens because, again, people trying to get to the bag, and just by someone saying it, give credence to it, right? If 4 women come out and say, yo, this person, he gaped me, it depends on who you ask, right? But if somebody did it, how will we know? So let's say for this instant that this person did do that. Can you separate what his accomplishments was on the field opposed to what he do off the field? For me, something like gape, I can't. As a man, I just don't jack that. I don't jack that gape. And again, I don't want to sound like, oh, this, that, and the third, but it's too many women out here. As a man, even if you don't have your stuff together, even if you don't feel like you're up to par, even if you feel like you don't look good or have nice clothes or have the game, it's still too many women out here that will say yes. All you got to do is play the numbers game. That's all you got to do. I live in Florida. I've seen homeless men behind the dumpster with a woman. So you will find a woman in every stage of your life. When you're up, when you're down. Never at any point should a man take something from a woman, which is her body, and she didn't volunteer. If she not baby, come here, then you stand clear. If she says no, that's not a go. If she says no, that's not a go. So I don't jack gape at all. I keep saying I'm from Brooklyn. We don't like and again, maybe it's because of the culture I was raised in. I was raised in a culture, and I'm not saying this to brag. I was raised in a culture where the men around me, they was players. You know what I mean? They knew how to speak and treat and move with women. Gape was never a part of the bottom line. If she says no, then you go. Simple and plain. So for me, any artist, entertainer, anybody that engages in this activity who is regarded in high regard, it's hard for me to separate the two. It's hard for me to. Now, some cases is not cut and dry. The way how I look at gape, and people may be mad at me for saying this, but that's your opinion, just like it's mine. When you take something from a woman, bro, and she said no, for me, there's no coming back to that. Shout out to Biggs, my bro Biggs in the building. He said facts. There's no coming back from that. When it deals with age, age is another factor of gape. Whether somebody consents. But that's also very tricky in itself too. The reason being is because grandma, grandpa, not mine in particular, but grandma, grandpa, for most people, grandma, grandpa, well, in this day and age, most people great grandma, grandpa, or great great grandma, grandpa. Grandpa came home from Vietnam War. Grandpa was 29 years old. Grandma was 16, about to turn 17. People don't look at that as gape because that's a large gap, but it'll also depend on the state that you're living in. So if you live in somewhere like Alabama, if you live somewhere like Maryland, I believe Atlanta, if you live in these places that are southern based, Mississippi, where the consent of marriage and people getting together is 15 16 years old. So that's not considered that. So when great-great-grandma had you or had, your mom, nobody said nothing then. So age is kind of tricky in itself because the age of consent is different from each state. My proclivities of age, I can't deal with no young girl, me personally. That's not how I flow at all. But I can see how it's tricky in the facts of history. When you pull up grandma, grandma 62, grandpa 82. When did they meet? Oh yeah, grandpa was like 39. So you mean tell me grandma was 17? What? 16? And it's like that, not just in the US, but also in Caribbean countries. That's very prevalent. And it's been like that for a long time. If you do the history, you do the lineage, and you do, so that's why I say the age portion is very tricky because each state has different age of consent, regardless of what I feel. Because if that was a real thing, if age was a real thing like it's supposed to be in this country, then the age of consent would be the age of consent for all 50 states. It would just be 18. But the age of consent, New York, and other places, it's only 4 states. And it's only 4 states in this whole entire country where the age of consent is 17. It's only 4. We got 51 states because Hawaii, I believe, is the 51 state, the 51st state, if I'm not mistaken, or Puerto Rico is the 51 state now. Yeah, I think Puerto Rico is considered. I gotta do more research, but I've heard that before, but I want to be clear on that. But still, it still makes my point that out of all the states in the U.S., only 4. The age of consent is 17. The rest is younger. You have other states, mainly in the Southern Belt, is 16 and 15. 16 and 15. And there are other states, it's 14. There's other states where they just made an age of consent because all these years there really wasn't an age of consent. In California, there wasn't an age of consent until like until a little while ago. But for a long period of time, you've heard celebrities marrying 14, 15-year-old girls, little girls. And there's nothing you could do about it. They just did it. You've seen these little girls also in adult videos. Nothing you could do about it. The age of consent is this in this state. That's why you've seen those X videos done in certain states because of the age of consent, because of what's allowed for that particular state, because that state makes money based on these videos and that industry. This shit is all connected, y'all. None of this stuff is by accident, is the point that I'm making. So that's why I say, can you separate the talent, the art, versus behavior? Shout out to Ebony, not NGL, not gonna lie. It's tricky depending on the person. I agree with that. I agree with that because every situation is not cut and dry. Because we're not going to say that about grandma, grandpa. That's why I brought up the example. We're not going to say about that about grandma, grandpa when she done had, what grandma done had or great grandma done had 5 kids. They have kids and they built a family structure that benefits our families to this day. So you're not going to look at grandpa crazy because grandma won't let you look at him crazy. She going to like, you better respect that man because he protected me at the time while I needed protection, for me to grow my family and have our family live and be what it is today. And that just doesn't go for the US, but that also goes into the Caribbean countries as well. So that makes it tricky. But when you talk about artists and people who have access, it's still kind of tricky to certain artists and certain players because their situation could be based on a lie. We seen with Michael Jackson, that situation was based on a lie. We've seen with other celebrities that people try to say, this person is, this way with kids or this way with little girls, and it turned out to be lies. But we have artists and people where it was actually true. Nobody batted an eye. They've still got statues built of them. They still got loved. Like when you think of Elvis Presley, people always think of the king of rock and, yada, yada, yada. They don't think of the fact that he married a 15-year-old girl. I believe the 15-year-old girl was his cousin or niece or something like that. No problems then, right? Because he came home from the war. He was looking for some love, but it was cool then. This girl was 15 at the time. It was cool then. Elvis Presley still gets put up in the monuments and in the history book of music. Get movies based on his so-called greatness from stealing from other artists, which is also a fact and not an opinion. But celebrate it. So that's why I say in the real aspect of things, it's tricky because some people hold artists' art higher than their behavior. That's the realness about it. Regardless of what I feel, regardless of what you feel about it, because it's not always cut and dry. And again, what if there's a situation where the allegations is not true? Because the messed up part about an allegation, once somebody says something, it's just put out there. It's put out there, and there's nothing you could do about it. Or the person like, yeah, I met him or I met her. They not like that. I know him. I know her. I grew up with him. He's never been like that. She's never been like that. So it gets tricky. It gets tricky. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Body parts, including a head, was found in Brooklyn after a cleanup crew smelled a foul odor. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. I seen this on the news as of yesterday. There is someone unaliving people and dismembering them. I remember quite a few stories in New York City as of recently about women body parts. Now you're starting to find men body parts. So I don't know what's going on in New York City. I don't know what's going on. A lot of the women, their body parts was found in Queens, New York. And now you're starting to find some of the men in Brooklyn body parts. This is very scary. New York City is a very dangerous place off the bat because it's the type of place where things happen and people keep on pushing. People will mind their business and be like, oh, and keep minding their business and keep on walking. But it's also scary to the point is when you try to do that to the most random people, you're going to catch a surprise. You're going to catch one. What Forrest Gump say? Life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get. You're going to catch one. You're going to catch that wrong somebody. But living in New York City, one thing you do learn how to do, you learn how to read people. And you learn who you can do stuff to and who you can't do stuff to. Is it something about somebody's energy? Like you could kind of tell when you're in New York City. Like, yeah, nah, I'll move on to the next one. Right? You learn how to read victims in New York City. And I learned that ever since I was a little kid. My mother always used to say, when I was like 6 or 7 years old and I'm walking down the street and I'm looking up because everything is so new and shiny and big. It's my first time walking in this neighborhood. She said, stop walking around looking like a victim. Because I'm walking around like this, right? Instead of eyes here, learning how to use my peripheral, and, you know what I'm saying, looking like I belong and being ready, right? That's what she was pretty much saying. So you learn how to read people in New York City. So it's quite interesting that this is going on and they have no leads. They have no leads. Normally, when you're dealing with dismembered body parts, you have to deal with something called blood. Blood is a very hard thing to get off your clothes, off your skin. The tracking of blood is hard to get rid of that. Clorox in itself just don't get rid of blood. Don't ask me how I know. But Clorox in itself just don't get rid of blood. You have to know what you're doing. And even when you know what you're doing, you can still track blood. You could clean up blood as far as the visual, what you see it. That doesn't mean that the blood is actually gone. So you have dismembered parts, dismembered people. Where's the blood? Where is the blood? Where's the tracking of the blood? How come they're not tracking the blood of these dismembered people into the database, finding out if they had enemies or their moments leading up to what eventually happened to them? Where is the leads? I don't know. Ever since Dexter started doing shows in New York City, we've been seeing a whole lot of dismembered people. I don't know what's going on. Somebody get Michael C. Hall on the phone. This is crazy. Because at the end of the day, you cannot have people out here moving this way because, again, New York City people is very proactive. They're going to have them a knife on them, a little tutu, a machete, something. They're going to have something, and it's going to lead to more violence. So I'm hoping that they start creating leads to start solving this particular crime. All right, y'all, don't forget that them likes, hit them 100s in the chat, hit them likes, hit them 100s in the chat. It helps with the growth of the show. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Oh, we spoke about that. We spoke about the government shutting down could affect government assistance. So we did speak about that. Next hot topic. Question. Again, y'all gotta let me know this in the chat. Should there be mandatory DNA testing after a baby's born at the hospital? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Should there be mandatory DNA testing at the hospital after a baby is born? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Shout out to my bro Biggs. He said that's facts. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, I said this shows ago, but not in this form and answering it in this ilk. It was just an off topic. But I don't see why it's not a normal thing when you're having children, because when you're in the hospital, you give blood. The mother has to give blood. The father's not required to give blood, because she's the one in there. But the father shouldn't have no problems while he's waiting for his child to be born to give blood and to be able to assess it right then and there. So that way, there's going to be no more issues. Because obviously, people going to try it, right? And sometimes people just don't know. The timing is wrong. But it's a scary thing, like for real, when you don't know who you slept with, to not know who's the real child of the father of this child. Because obviously, we know who the mommy is, right? But to know who the dad of this child, we should not have this moving forward. Like in 2055, right? We in 2025. In 2055, 30 years from now, this shouldn't even be an issue. When we all old and gray as hell, this shouldn't even be an issue. There shouldn't even be a Maury show or shows like Maury where people don't know the DNA. They still questioning the DNA of their child because they feel like their child don't look like them. I'm not gonna lie, I got strong genes. So if my child didn't come out looking like me, I would have been like, yo, you said, you know what I'm saying? I don't see me in her. Like, what's going on? But because my daughter, you know, if you see my daughter, you know that's mine, right? But it makes things uncomfortable in the household. They really do. I know. I have a homie, a bro, where the family would question the paternity of his child, of his son. And they like, yo, bro, he don't look like you at all. But he's like, yo, nah, this is mine. I know this is mine. God told me this is mine. Okay, cool. I can respect that. You threw God in it. Okay, cool. But why not just be sure? If there's a doubt in your mind, if there's a doubt in your family's mind, why not just make it clear? So this shouldn't be a thing moving forward, in my opinion. I don't see how this is even a thing now, to be honest with you. A shout out to Ebony. Yes, they should do it immediately. I agree. This shouldn't be an issue in 2025. These are 80s, 90s problems, maybe early 2000 problems. This should not be a 2025 thing moving forward. So they should easily test the father or whoever the man is at the hospital, like, yo, we're gonna test the paternity right now. The child is born, we took their blood, yo, we could test that right now. In a couple hours, you gonna know. And everybody could live happy ever after that. You wouldn't have no more issues in court, because there's been cases where guys ended up in jail doing time for child support for a child that wasn't even theirs. For a child that wasn't even theirs. I seen something like that in one of the court cases where a man did 5 years for child support for a child that wasn't his. And when they did the paternity, the lady was like, oh, okay. She didn't apologize. She didn't have no type of empathy for this man. The judge even said, ma'am, would you like to apologize? Did you know that this was going on? She said, I had an idea that he wasn't the dad, but no, I don't want to issue an apology. I thought he was the father. Wow. So again, this could debunk all of that moving forward. So again, fellas, don't be crash dummies for a child that's not yours. And ladies, keep it a buck. Keep it a buck. This is what breaks up families. This is what keeps the family structure broken. When two people are not together, it's not a broken family. When two people have communication and stand on one accord, that's a real family, regardless if they together or not. Because you could be in the same house and it's still a broken family if y'all don't get along. That's the broken family. So you will keep your family together in some cases by being apart, because when we together, it don't work. But we could come to not just an understanding and an agreement that us raising our child together is most important. Us speaking on one accord is most important. What you say, I'm going to back up. And what I say, you're going to back up regarding our child. We have to be a united front. Because parents against children is warfare. I'm just saying, it's warfare. So anytime a child realizes that there is dysfunction and distinction between mom and dad, when mom always got something negative to say about dad, when dad always has something negative to say about mom, then that's a broken family. It's not a broken family if they not together and they own one accord. It's not a broken family. So I have to let that be known, because that's the misconceptions. Like, oh, we staying together for the kids, but y'all miserable. And the kids can tell y'all miserable. And just because y'all here together in misery doesn't make us a family unit. Shout out to Paul. that is used to doing this, and that to get the answer in the end. Okay. And that's what I'm saying. Is like at the end of the day, we believe that keeping a family together is by staying together. No, staying together and we don't get along is not keeping our family together. They can sense it. They can feel it. We argue, or the love is not real. I'm like, when I say this, some people may take it the wrong way. I don't care if you do or not, man. But like, one of the most important things children could hear is their parents like getting together. I know what I mean by getting together, right? That's the most important noise that a kid needs to hear. Reason being, and I'm not talking about, all the intricacies of being an adult and having your adult situation with your woman or your wife, right? But just the fact that y'all in a space together being intimate, and the child knows, oh, mommy and daddy in there connecting. They connecting. And even though it's nasty to us, there's a sense of family that a child needs to know. Like, yo, that's what love is. Even though we find it nasty, that's what love is. There's been parties I went to with some of my friends. They'll have house parties every year. And you see the pops and the mother, they would come out and hug and slow dance. He would kind of squeeze her butt a little bit. And a couple of my boys be like, yo, why he got to do that? Like, come on, yo. But again, that's what love is. That's a visual that we need, because we know what love is by looking at them. And just because they're older and not always appropriate, but we know that that's what it looks like. That's the language of a family structure, connection, and intimacy. That's why it's important for kids to hear their parents in the next room getting it popping. Again, not the intricacies of it, y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know for a fact, just hearing it, or the head boy like, oh, they in there doing it, and like, that's nasty, and you go back running to your room, not sitting there listening. Like, y'all get where I'm going with this, right? It matters because, again, it gives the sense of family and parents having their intimacy, opposed to your parents in the other room arguing like cats and dogs and making your children or that child feel like it's their fault. Because a child always going to take that on. For whatever reason, they take that on. So that's why that matters. Shout out to my dude Vic in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. 2 boys. He said he got 2 boys in the building. So again, people don't realize intimacy matters. And for kids to see that with their parents, that matters. Not sitting there watching them, obviously, but to hear it in passing, it's like, oh, they nasty. But again, you get the intimacy, and you rather have that than them arguing. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Question again. Again, let me know what y'all think about this in the chat, because this is something that's, been asked, but not a lot of answers to it. Can this era fix dating? Can this era fix dating? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Can this era fix dating? Hit them hundreds. Hit them 100s in the chats. Hit them hearts in the chats. It helps with the growth of the show. Shout out to Vic. He said they heard me with this stepmom. Again, it matters. It matters. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand. It does something to the family in a positive way, where kids know that their parents are intimate. There's love. That's what it looks like. Simple and plain. Like, for most boys, when they see their dad with their woman, more likely they're going to treat their women when they get older like how their dad treat their woman. If it's positive, they're going to treat their woman like their dad treat their woman or better. If it's negative, they're going to treat their woman like the pop treat their woman, or they might want to be such a better man than their father that they're going to do the opposite. So if dad treat her bad, son going to treat her great. In some cases, if dad treat her bad, son going to treat her even worse. So, but that's why it's important that the parent structure have intimacy, and the kids hear that. So shout out to Vic for that. Hit them likes, hit the 100s, y'all. So again, can this era fix dating? Can this era fix dating? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. No, I don't think so. I don't think we can. For the most part, us as women are the problem. For a multitude of reasons. Obviously, it's all of us, but as in whole. Not all of us, but as a whole. Okay. Or all of us, okay. I will say this. Ladies, y'all dictate dating. Ladies, y'all dictate dating. As men, we dictate marriage. We dictate the seriousness of what it can be depending on what you provide and what you give. And what I mean by give is that most women don't realize, and I've said this on other shows, y'all have the ability to meet every man that y'all meet at brand new. So what you present to a man based on how you look, act, how you treat yourself, and how you treat him is the treatment that you're going to get from him. Most men, when we meet women, if she's what I want, I'm going to put her in wifey category. If she gives me part of what I want, I'm going to put her in friends with benefits category. If she don't give me nothing that I need, I'm cool. I see you around. Now, if she's really nice and really cool, but not physically attractive, most men don't have a lot of women friends, but we have women friends. There's some women friends that a man will call a woman his friend, but it can't be based on no type of attraction or sex that's involved. That's the only way a man could really look at a woman as a friend, if he's not attracted to her in one bit. And also circumstance matters too. So if he meets her in a work setting, they're not attracted to each other, but they could be cool, there's no attraction, then that woman can be, not always, but can be a friend. So ladies, y'all dictate dating. So when y'all say that, like, you know, that y'all feel for a multitude of reasons that, or at least Ebony in the chat is like, yo, you feel like the cause of it, y'all dictate it. Y'all dictate it. At the end of the day, a man is only going to treat you based on what you provide. Now, also, ladies, if this is the norm, this is not your exception. Of course, there are some women that treated some men like kings, and some of these men, they didn't deserve that treatment. But that's a learning curve for you. That doesn't mean that the next man you meet don't deserve that treatment. You have to do a better job at vetting. But what you put out, again, is what is going to have what a man is going to treat you as. So again, if you show good girl, hardworking girl, go to work, wants to be about her man, and have balance in her life, a man would know that and be like, yo, this is a woman I need in my life. She got balance her own way. She not always on me every 2 seconds, but she wants me. She want to do things together that requires just my energy and time. It doesn't require money. It doesn't require nothing special, but just our time commitment to each other. A man will give you the world if you say to yourself, I want his time and not his wallet. He'll give you the world. Now, some men that lead with money, of course, you make your demands known because he leads with money. But every man is not operating from the same foundation. So, ladies, that is y'all superpower when it comes to dating. Whatever you present is what he's going to treat you as. If you present a good woman, a woman that, yo, I'm still trying to figure it out, but she's somebody I gotta have in my life, yo. We gotta figure this out. I'm gonna date her until it's time, but yo, I ain't gonna let her walk out the door. So at the end of the day, y'all dictate dating. A shout out to Paul. I disagree with that. I agree with that, Ash, what you said. Okay, what you said. So basically what I said, okay. So at the end of the day, women have to understand that. Men, if we're only going to treat you what you present. If you portray whore, hoe, we're going to treat you as such. It's simple and plain. If you act in a way that a man does not find attractive, and based on what you act like, that got nothing to do with the sexual portion of that for most men, because a man will still knock you off. Like, oh, thanks. Have a good day. Because what your energy is about. So I think, me personally, that this era can fix dating. But there has to be a shift in the mindset based on what the women are going to put out there. I could go on my Instagram right now, and it will look like it will look like a X channel, and half of the women on there is not ex workers. They just on there taking pictures in their lingerie in the most craziest positions, bent over, legs wide open, chest all falling out the cup. Like, this is not the X channel. This is Instagram. Like, damn, baby, what's going on? But everybody got to show something. They in their drawers. And the front side, you can see the thing. They got see-through drawers, all that. And these are supposedly regular women. So, I mean, it has to be a shift in the mindset, because there's no way you present that to a man and you want him to say, yeah, that's wifey. He will say, yeah, I'm going to knock her down. She don't know. But long term, yeah, nah, that's not happening. A shout out to Grasshopper. Appreciate you tapping in. Rastafari, appreciate you tapping in. Give up on the love and happiness a long time ago. Hey, man, I can understand how people after a certain time can get a bit jaded. When you've been out here for a while, you can get a bit jaded. And most people give up. It's really just managing your own expectations. So that's why when you say that you gave up on a long time ago, I'm not mad at you, because you probably really put your best foot forward to some women that you really felt like, yo, like this can be the one. You really put your best foot forward. And this is your way of managing the expectation. I remember my father saying something to me that I would never forget. I was, dating. This was like, I was dating my high school sweetheart at the time. And he's like, son, you're a nice looking kid. I know you done had several before her, and you're going to have several after her. Trust me. So what you feeling is cool, but don't put all your eggs in one. This is what he said. He said, I've been in love like any other man been in love, and I hope for the best. But realistically, and what he was basically saying, I have no control on what she does. I have no control based on what she does. And that's just not her in her particular, but that's all women. Meaning that no matter what you present, that woman has to be in tune with what she has in with you, and to see the benefit in you as well as you seeing the benefit and the love in her, for her not to disrespect y'all relationship. Simple and plain. Don't matter. It matters how you treat them, but it don't matter how you treat some of them. For real. That's why, again, ladies, y'all dictate dating based on what y'all put out. Most women I've seen with my own two eyes, and this is from what I've seen and what I experienced, whether it was me or what I've seen with other people. Y'all like a bad boy. Y'all don't like a dude that's going to do everything y'all say, do everything y'all want him to do. Nah, y'all don't like that. Nah, y'all like manly. Y'all like a manly man. I'm not talking about abusive. I'm talking about a manly man that knows what he wants, is confident, sees what he see in you, see what he see in himself. Y'all like that, right? But most guys don't understand that until they get their heart broke. Most guys don't understand that until they stop looking at their women like their mothers. Because the first woman that most of us as men, the first woman we was ever in love with is our moms. Not in a sexual way, obviously, but just loving. Basically seeing women through mom's eyes, meaning that because mom knows our heart, our mothers know our heart, we don't have to say nothing. It's mental telepathy. You know what I'm saying? Our moms know us. So we look at most women when it comes to our first love, like those women have our best intentions at heart, whether they agree or disagree with us. So when we stop looking at women like that and looking at women like women, you have better results. And you understand that you have a part to play, just like she has a part to play. Simple and plain. So I can get why you say you gave up on love a long time ago and happiness a long time ago, because you get jaded after a while when you feel like you put your all in and you don't get what you're looking for as far as a partner. So, a lot of women, y'all don't realize y'all have that power. Y'all have that power. Why you think you see, especially, I remember this in the 90s and the early 2000s. I remember, I'm not going to say which one of my family members, but he was known to be like, a ladies' man, right? And he had a girl who, she was nice girl. And y'all know I'm going with this. She was a nice girl, nice, clean girl. You know what I'm saying? But visually, other women and other men wouldn't think that she was a nice looking girl. So we asked our family member, why her? You know what I'm saying? She not the cutest thing, bro. You're like, she treat me like a prince. She treats me like a prince. I wouldn't have no other woman but her. And I remember that as a kid, him saying this. And I'm like, damn, is it like that when you get older? Like you just gotta roll with the 3 or the 4, and her knowing that she wasn't that cute didn't mean that she didn't get cute. Didn't mean that she didn't treat him like a prince, like he said. When you get that type of treatment, regardless if the woman is a 2 or 3, a man, you look better in a man's eyes if you give him that type of treatment based on what you present to that man and what is accessible to that man. Especially his access is not other men's access. His access is not other men's access. Meaning what he gets at home is not on display for the rest of the world. My woman, her body, and I'm just saying in general, I'm not saying me personally, but my woman and her body, I'm the only eyes that's going to see that. You're not going to see it on social media. You might see it at a pool or something if we pull up to a pool or something like that. But just in general, that's just me personally. because my access is not everybody else's access. So, ladies, it matters. It matters. So, y'all control dating. And what you present, that's what a man has to build upon and is going to build upon. So, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I think this era can fix dating. I don't think it's going to happen based on what's going on in this era. Whole culture is up 10,000. You got, women who are beautiful and who is cool one day and they go to Dubai the next day to become porta potties. Then it's like we know you the porta potty. You don't got the money to go out there. We know you went out there. You got the buddy pass and you got the the porta potty ticket. Y'all know what I mean by that. So again, what you present is what that man is going to treat you as. So keep that in mind, ladies. Keep that in mind. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. College football picks is in. My pick 6 is in. Sunday night episode. Shout out to Christopher Rivera, Maria Rivera. Appreciate you tapping in. How are you doing, sir? I'm doing amazing. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes. Hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. How are you doing? I hope you're doing amazing. I hope you're feeling well this evening. And again, we appreciate you tapping in. Good deal. Nice jersey. By the way, did you see the Broncos in the New York game? Yes. I'm about to talk about that in a second. Yes, I did. That game was crazy. My college or university, Cincinnati, did great. Y'all seen Cincinnati do their thing. I seen them do their thing, the thing. They kind of got their swagger back when they switched their brand from Adidas to Nike. They got Nike again, and so they got their swagger back. You know what I'm saying? I see Cincinnati out there doing their thing. What up, my dude Patrick Torres in the building? One of our badge holders, one of our day ones. Appreciate you tapping in, my brother. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. Y'all, don't be stingy on them likes on 100s. It helps with the growth of the show, and I know y'all like to see this show grow. So, again, hit them likes and hit the 100s. Appreciate y'all tapping in. All right, y'all. So, my pick 6 for college football is in. My pick 6 for college football is in. Y'all know where it's at, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know where it's at. Y'all know where I'm at with it, man. Y'all know where I'm at with it, man. Y'all see the hat in the back. Y'all see my team, you know what I'm saying? Y'all see the jersey, and this is my jersey. This is my jersey. They got Lovechild on the back of this. Y'all don't believe me? Look, I don't know if y'all can see it, but they got Lovechild on the back of this. You know what I'm saying? This is my jersey. You know what I'm saying? Specially made for your boy. You know what I'm saying? I don't play no games when it comes to my Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? But my pick 6 college football is in. The first game I called, Louisville versus number 2 Miami. I said Miami would win that game. Miami looked really good up until this game. They just looked super lethargic. They felt like a step behind all game long, and this was an upset. So I lost this game, Louisville to number 2 Miami. I had the score. I don't have the scores with me right now, but I had them. I must have erased them by accident, but that was again. Carson Beck has to play better, but he threw 4 interceptions, and all 4 of them interceptions was not his fault. The receivers have to know the routes, bro. This is the 8th game. At this stage of the season, y'all know each other's tendencies as a receiver and as a quarterback. As a receiver, when that ball is in the air, you cannot leave the quarterback high and dry. You have to turn into a defender. If you realize this is not the perfect pass and the defense have access to this ball, you got to knock the ball down, bro. You just letting the defender pick it off in the air when he's giving you a chance to be the better athlete. So that game totally pissed me off because Miami could have won that game. But shout out to Louisville. They came to play and they won that game. Second game I called, number 11, Tennessee versus number 6, Alabama. I said Alabama will win this game, and they did. Again, I had the scores, but I erased them by accident. But Alabama still looks good. Each week they're getting better and better, and I keep telling y'all, Ty Simpson is the truth. I said this the first week of the season when he lost to Florida State. They were supposed to beat Florida State, but things happen. They are a better team than Florida State today. If they play Florida State today, they will smoke Florida State. So at the end of the day, Bama, they some dogs, and Ty Simpson, he continues to show up and show out. Next game I called, number 10 LSU versus number 17 Vanderbilt. I went with number 10 LSU. I just thought that they was the better team with better athletes, but they played them at Vanderbilt. And I have to realize that Brian Kelly as a coach, he's simply overrated. He's simply overrated. He's never been one of those coaches where you know that it was on and popping. He's always had a good program. Always. And I feel like he hasn't done the really great coaching ever since he pulled up to Notre Dame. Notre Dame, when he was at Notre Dame, the coaching wasn't great at Notre Dame. Notre Dame lost a whole lot of swagger when Brian Kelly was there. He's with LSU. They lost a whole lot of swagger this year. Their quarterback was supposed to be a Heisman candidate. The team in itself was supposed to be a national team where they're supposed to be making a run for the college football players, and you lose to Vandy at Vanderbilt? Come on. That's crazy. But shout out to Vanderbilt. They won this game. They've been winning that game at home against LSU for quite a while, and you got to give them their props. Next game I call, number 5 Ole Miss versus number 9 Georgia. I said Georgia will win this game, and they did in convincing fashion. I like Ole Miss. Their young quarterback is really good. They got a good team. They should be in the college football playoff if they win out. But Georgia, man, Georgia's a tough team, especially when they're at home. They are a tough team. They're a physical team. Their only weakness is that their quarterback play is very spotty. Gunnar Stockton is very spotty. If their quarterback play was better, they would blow out teams every game. But Georgia did win that game. Number 20 USC, and I know in the chat they gonna go in number 20 USC versus number 13 Notre Dame. I said USC was gonna win this game. I just love USC physicality against my team Michigan the week prior. They was I don't know if we were sleeping. I don't know if it was the West Coast, East Coast timing of that game or whatever the case may be, but we were sleepwalking and they was completely more physical than Michigan. But against Notre Dame caught their footing. They caught their footing and they won this game very convincingly, might I add. Again, I don't have the scores here, but I watched that game and it was very convincing, might I add. Shout out to Patrick. He said, my Irish played well. Yes, that's a fact. Christopher, it's a stitch. 24-21 Louisville. Okay, oh, you got the score. See, shout out to Maria, man. Appreciate you for that. Appreciate that. 34-24. Yes, so with Notre Dame and USC 30, it was very convincing. But I'm still not all the way in with Notre Dame. They played a great game. But when they play top 10 teams, I don't know. But they did look good. So I'm giving them credit. And to their coach, Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame has somewhat of their swagger back compared to when Brian Kelly was there. I'm just saying. So shout out to Notre Dame. They did the damn thing. Next game I called was number 23 Utah versus number 15 BYU. I said BYU will win that game, and they did handily. It was a very physical game. BYU is very underrated. Freshman quarterback. I hate the quarterback number, but I love the mentality behind it. Quarterback is wearing 47. That has to be one of the nastiest numbers a quarterback can wear. One of the nastiest numbers I've ever seen a quarterback wear. Like, for real. 47, that's nasty. But the mentality playing with that number at quarterback is like a physical mindset that is benefiting that player, that quarterback, and that team. So shout out to BYU. I went 3-3. I believe Christopher predicted. He said I was going, not Christopher. Uh, 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 was it Patrick? Patrick predicted. He said I was gonna go 3-3 this week in college football, and I did. I went 3-3 for my pick six for college football this week. Vanderbilt, nice power back. Uh, yeah, I mean Vanderbilt. The source of Vanderbilt is their quarterback. They have a good team. They're physical, but their quarterback is what make things go. How he plays dictates whether they're gonna win or lose every game. If he plays well, they're gonna win. If he doesn't play well, they're gonna lose. It's just that simple. Couch War 22. Yeah, I mean, see, I'm gonna tell you this as a quarterback, right? Most quarterbacks can wear any number from 0 to 19. Those are quarterback numbers. You have to be a special quarterback to wear 20 at quarterback. You got to be nice to wear 20 at quarterback. Like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I wore 20 in high school at quarterback, and I had MVP on this. You know what I'm saying? I'm just putting that out there. You know what I'm saying? I wore 20 for a reason, and I was making that 20 look popping at quarterback. Wearing 98 at quarterback, that's a fire number to wear as a quarterback if you nice. If you nice, 98 at quarterback. There's been Heisman Trophy winners in college that wore 98. 47 is like, whew, whew, whew. But if he continues to play, the number is not going to matter. I remember, I believe Lorenzo, it was a quarterback way back in the day at this point, but he was a quarterback of Kentucky football when I was a little boy.